Good morning. Thank you for joining us for yet another beautiful day in Trinidad and Tobago here on AM Prime. We look forward to an exciting show with you. We have so much in store, including a conversation with our pastor about Spiritual Shelter Baptist Liberation Day, which is coming up tomorrow, please God. We're also speaking about men and vulnerability and accountability and so much more. And in our second hour, we have an artist who has an amazing show coming up, and he's going to share all those details with us. We ask you to stay tuned. And before we go into our first interview, we have our daily inspiration. And today's daily inspiration is really just, us sending best wishes to all our SCA students this morning. We know that this exam, they've been preparing for it, you've been working hard towards it, and we really want to wish you all the best. We know that you're going to do well at it, you're going to excel, you're going to put your best foot forward. When you go into that exam, everything else fades. It's just you, that exam, and all that you would have studied, all that you would have poured into yourself for all these months, all these years leading up to it. We ask that you just take it easy. Write the exam, say a prayer, meditate, do what you have to do. Just be calm and know that you already have it. We look forward to the results. We look forward to hearing about the exam and how you did. Just take it easy and know that you have all the love and the support today and moving forward. We take a short break. When we come back, we have our first interview. Stay with us.
If these walls could talk, they'd cry uncle. They didn't plan to become offices or yoga studios, but they've stood by us, even when we got a little stir-crazy. For that, they deserve some thanks. They deserve Benjamin Moore.
People really want to know, what about me? Where do I fit?
Yes.
What is in the ride for me in terms of a better Trinidad and Tobago? And I'm pleased to shed some light on that.
The purpose of bail is to ensure your attendance at court. That's it. It is not punitive. It is not rehabilitative.
We, the police officers, we are professional, and we are here for whenever the survivor is ready to come forward.
We have the right to private and family life, the right to religious freedoms and beliefs and thoughts and expression. But these rights are not absolute. Certain rights can be limited.
The law is to govern the whole. It's for all of us in public.
Trinidad, come and get blessed at the Good News Fest. Free groceries while stocks last and lots of giveaways like appliances and toys and much more with live music at each venue. 3 days only in South, March 30th at number 4 Recreation Ground, Palo Seco from 4 p.m. In Central, March 31st at Ancient Alley Promenade, Couva, 6 p.m. And in the East, April 1st, Macoya, Savannah, Macoya, 6 p.m. It's the Good News Fest, 3-day family event, March 30th to April 1st. Lots of giveaways after an encouraging word shared.
Thank you for staying with us. As promised, our next interview will be talking about Spiritual Shelter Baptist Liberation Day, and we have joining us via Zoom Pastor Ingrid Ryan Rubin of Academy of Grace, Institute of the Holy Spirit. Welcome, Pastor.
Good morning, and thank you.
Thank you for being here with us. Happy Spiritual Shelter Baptist Liberation Day.
Thank you, and same to Trinidad and Tobago.
All right, so let's get into it. Tell us what this day means for you.
Well, it's an opportunity to remind ourselves of where we have been, particularly when you're Christian. Christianity is about what has happened before, and using that as a guide sheet for how we continue to approach this life. And so that when I reflect on, particularly this year, when I reflect on Liberation Day, my focus is now on Teacher Bailey.
Okay.
When I think about the man and what he was willing to do because of what he believed, because of his convictions, I think he's a hero that we need to celebrate at Trinidad and Tobago. He said to when he was charged for breaking the law, he says, "This is all I know." He said, "This is who I am. This is all I grew up doing, and therefore I will do nothing else." And his deep conviction, I think, is an example for us as members of the faith tradition as well as Trinbagonians.
Yeah.
The man had a deep conviction. He was willing to pay the price that the state said he had to pay for believing what he believed in and for doing what he was doing.
Yeah. Do you think that this history is something that is shared and known enough, or it's something that the work needs to continue so that this information is out there, that people understand what this day is about, where this would have derived from, and what we do in terms of the celebration of this day?
There are some things we must never forget. Never forget. And this is one that we should, because for a country to move forward, it has to always glance back at its past.
Yes.
And what you don't want to do is repeat what happened. And Trinidad and Tobago has a unique history. Just last night at our discussion, we had a lecture at Main Fleurs on Spiritual Baptist Ancient Landmarks.
Okay.
And I reflected on this country. This country there are some significant things that happen to us in this country that we need to ensure that we never forget. The 1970 Black Power Revolution, we should not forget. And how do you remember that? It is important to put up exhibitions and to create galleries,
yes,
so that the generations that come after will never forget. 1990, there needs to be a public gallery that you call a public memorial, and people must never forget that this happened in this country.
Yes.
1970. And why 70, I know, is important for me as a child of the 70s, went to secondary school in the 70s. It is there are some things that if you don't remember, you are doomed to repeat.
Yes.
And so it is important for, as a nation, and as we grow, for us to know the ground on which we walk. That today we can do particular things because these people were willing to take a chance, were willing to endanger their lives, were willing to say to the world, "This is what I believe, and I'm going to stand on that." And therefore it is critical, and that's why the exhibition of on the Spiritual Baptist faith that we put up at Mayflower is important.
Yes.
Because we never forget.
Yes.
And people forget where they come from is doomed to sometimes to walk those steps over again. And the same thing for us in the Spiritual Baptist faith tradition. Sometimes you get comfortable because today it is okay. If you get comfortable and you forget, it might not be okay tomorrow. And so it's critical that we talk about it, that those who come after us remember that you are free to do this today because those people were willing to fight. Those people were willing to stand in front of the battle,
yeah,
and to make it happen.
Yes.
And so that's, for me, that information is critical to our moving forward.
Yes. In terms of the information, and I know we'll get into details about the exhibition and so on, is there support from the government? Is there support on a national level to the community to have exhibitions, to have these conversations, to have panel discussions where, this information is shared? Or do you think that there needs to be more?
There is state support for, like for all national days and festivals, there is state support.
Okay.
I do not agree with how it is done. And in terms of, and I don't really want to talk much about it, but there has always been state support for this faith tradition. My concern has always been, at the end of that support, what have we had to show for it?
Right.
My focus is the Academy of Grace, which is a Spiritual Baptist Institute of Theology.
Yes.
We think that government has provided us support for infrastructure, but the spiritual infrastructure for me is the most important part. It's nice to have, because there are a lot of beautiful Catholic churches all over the world, and most of them are empty. Okay, so what happens inside is our focus. What happens inside the walls of the church? What happens inside the walls of the heart? Those are the things that are important to the organization that I lead.
Right.
Okay, and so that I'm also a pastor at a spiritual Baptist church that will be 40 years old this year. And so as an operating leader of a church, I look for my eyes see different things in that. I am concerned about, of course, the salvation of those in my congregation, but for all of us in the spiritual Baptist faith tradition, I am concerned about what we believe and how we walk in that belief.
Yes.
I am concerned about ensuring that our rituals remain rich and connected to the source. And so that because what happens to us over time, when you don't understand a particular thing, you decide that it's not important.
Right.
Okay, that is why I talk a lot about legacy.
Yes.
About those things that have occurred. If you don't know what it is about, you don't know how important it is. And we need to understand how important it is for us to understand where we came from, where we are today, and how we are moving forward. And so that for me, the faith coming to a place where we all have one doctrinal position that we all agree on in terms of the approach we take to how we understand God and how we manifest that understanding in our services.
Yes.
Those things are important to me.
Yes. Tell us about the Academy of
and
Grace.
our rituals and
Yes.
sorry?
No, I was saying to tell us about the Academy of Grace and how you're able to pass this information on, how you're able to, I guess, plant those seeds of leadership into persons who attend the Academy.
Okay, so the Academy of Grace, we do certificate programs that lead to a diploma in theology, ministry and mission.
Okay.
And so a diploma consists of 4 certificates. So we do a certificate, and our certificate program is like a 12-week semester.
Okay.
So we have a certificate in New Testament studies, a certificate in Old Testament studies. That's critical to any work you're doing in theology. We also have a certificate in communication and media, and a certificate in church administration, but specifically administration of a spiritual Baptist church. Okay, because of the nature of and the history of our faith tradition, and many of us are as organized administratively as we are spiritually. And so now the law requires that all of us become registered organizations.
Right.
And we recognize that we included that now in that particular certificate program. How to register, what are the requirements, how to set up your boards and committees. We think that we needed to do that because people are seated, they usually depend on somebody else to do it. And we think that those are skills that need to be developed within the church organization, because every year you have got to make sure that you do your annual returns, and you have to make sure you set up your accounting systems.
Yes.
Okay, so we recognize that, and those are areas of weakness, and so we included that in part of our course. So we also do seminars, like for example, for the next 4 months, and on the last Thursday of every month, we are going to be doing a 1 hour, a free seminar on various topics.
Okay.
I mean, we talk about stuff like in our seminars, what does Lazarus' death have to do with us? Understanding our spiritual senses. Okay, that's the kind, because we recognize that in the spiritual Baptist faith tradition, our spiritual understandings are important, and lest we misinterpret what we see.
Right.
So we spend a lot of time interpreting and codifying what we call God speak, what I call God speak.
Okay.
Okay, so that because we have specific rituals, example, for our baptism, we have our morning rituals. And we, for those of us in the tradition, for a long time, we have taken that for granted. Is how we do it. What we do at the Academy of Grace is dissect that. Why do we do what we do?
Okay.
Why do we read this particular book from the Bible when we carry on this specific ritual? What is the meaning of all the things that we use in our rituals? Why water? Why flowers? Okay? And so that we are about, and so some things need to become demystified, so that we understand where we are going as we move forward.
Yes.
Some spiritual things need to be sussed out. And it's not necessarily telling you what it means, but how do you get in the place spiritually to determine, to discern what is happening in a particular space at a particular time?
Right. Right. In terms of that and, demystifying certain things, Do you think that there still exists a misconception where things like Obia and stuff are concerned, and the spiritual Baptist faith?
Yes, it is important for us to know that those of us who live in this society and the societies of the post-enslavement Caribbean and this area of the world, that the colonial masters, their intention was to destroy all the things that came with us from across the Atlantic Ocean.
Yes.
And so that there was a recognition. It's important for us to know there was a recognition amongst the hierarchy at the time of the spiritual power that these people worked with. Our ancestors came here with their physical and spiritual selves, and with a very heightened spiritual sense. And it is well known and researched that the slave rebellions in Haiti were because of their spiritual prowess. And you would read, when we talk about people who just come, like we used to talk about Butler used to disappear. When you hear he's standing here and then you don't see him,
right.
And then he reappears. All those was spiritual knowledge and that people came here with. Okay, so it's important for us to know that, and the law was to ensure that you robbed people of that. And so that when you say drums were evil, and you create laws against it,
right? And
you create laws against, and the most interesting thing I find in the law is that they try to define obia in the Summary Offences Act. And all they say was, they weren't sure what it was, they couldn't define it. They say, but if you see any of the accoutrements, like a bell or like those things,
right,
if you see any of those, yes, the symbols. And so what it did was they criminalized the symbols of our faith tradition. It is like criminalizing the cross. It's like saying you can't have a cross. Okay? Yeah. It's like saying you can't say the name of Jesus when you tell us that we can't do these things. And so that they use these laws to criminalize African spirituality. And so that today, when somebody say a cocaine bloom, they say a wakinobia.
Right.
And what we have done, we have taken those same symbols and put it in our reenactments, or whether that is True Best Village or wherever.
Yes.
And so we have turned these icons into instruments of obia in a play, in a dance. Okay, so that when people see you with a particular, and so it has become almost normal. They create this pantheon of things that they would see spiritual Baptists or Orishas use, and it now comes in a play as somebody playing the fool, as somebody who's an obia man.
Right.
Okay, and we don't understand, and so we have been led to believe that anything that is named obia, or anything that has attached to it a bell, a Bible, and these things are illegal, wrong, is not about Jesus. And so that has been we continue to try to jump that hill.
Yes.
Constantly, and it is time for us to discuss these things. Like I reminded people in the lecture last night, when these laws were created, it's not only in the Caribbean, it's wherever there was enslavement. Okay? And so that's why those vagrancy laws that is also in the Summary Offences Act, those vagrancy laws wasn't only in the Caribbean, was also in America. They used those vagrancy laws after emancipation. The people lived on the whole life was on the plantation. They leave the plantation. They have nowhere else to go.
Yes. Yeah.
So now they squat in, and now they become vagrants, and they use the laws to bring them back into the plantation. They do it all over wherever there were slaves in this region of the world. Yeah. They create, and so these vagrancy laws were about continuing enslavement. And they attached to that anything that was African invoked, in terms of how you sing, how you dance, the drum, all those things, was to strip us of our African selves and what remains becomes a vessel that you could use as a vessel to clean and to cook and to plant and to build.
Yeah.
Just hands to do the hard work. And we need to understand that. So when we talk about them people working obia, we don't understand that what they have done was achieved the objective, which was to denigrate anything that was located close to the African heart, close to African spiritual sensibilities, And once you have convinced the population of that, and it is now in their psyche,
Yeah.
it is difficult to remove it.
Yeah, because you're
So
literally
debunking that has
denying.
been part of,
Yeah.
the debunking that has been part of the work that we have been doing at the Academy.
Yeah, because it sounds like, literally denying a part of yourself, a part of your history.
Yes. But not only that, is negating your center.
Yeah.
Because now you have got to find a new center. And so what they give to the people is a new center, which is you could become one of the other Christian religions. Okay? And then eventually they give permission to be a Hindu. And they give permission to be a Muslim. And then and spiritual Baptists struggle to get permission to be spiritual Baptists in terms of the law.
Right. I know that one of the things that you're doing, even to get this information out, there are a lot of panel discussions happening. Tell us about the one with Nalis and, how has that been going? I know there was one last year and so on as well.
Yeah, Nalis has really been, we set up a partnership with Nalis in 2021, so it's our third panel discussion. And Nalis has been very supportive of our ideas. Our panel discussions that we started in 2021 is to bring to light discussions about issues that are critical to the faith tradition.
Right.
It is our people don't know history and don't to repeat it. And so we started with a general discussion on the prohibition ordinance because some people just don't have the information. And that was the first one we did. Last year we started talking about obia and what it is. And so we looked at the act. And we looked at people's understanding of what obia is in this country, because obia is defined in the law. And what is defined in the law is an attempt to destroy. What we are doing this year is we continue in that discussion. But the discussion tonight is going to focus around the book called Experiments in Power, that was written by Professor Brent Crosser of the University of Austin in Texas.
Okay.
Brent spent 15 years in Trinidad studying this. And he has colleagues at the university who are part of the department and they're part of who will also be on the panel discussion. And Northeastern University in North America has also done a lot of work on obia. If you Google them, you would see that they did a lot of research. And a member of the staff, assistant professor Felipe Castro, will also be a panelist tonight.
Okay.
And we're really going to we're going to discuss the ideas that Brent raised in his book, particularly that the concept of experiment in spiritual in power. That experiment in power, I think, is a powerful analogy for what he experienced in Trinidad and Tobago. And we need to understand one, he comes from a different background, and he was fascinated by what he experienced here. And I am also fascinated by what he wrote in his book and the ideas. Okay, the very idea of experiment in power is, I think, is mind blowing.
Okay.
And so that's the discussion we're going to have tonight. And I'm really grateful to Brent and the other professors who agreed. Our local panelists will be Burton Sankarali, a philosopher, who has done a lot of research in this area. And also Jamie, who was with us last year, Jamie Filbert, who is a calendar practitioner, currently studying for her master's at the University of Limerick in Wales. She's also going to, because we know that stick fighting is a critical part of our African retention.
Yes.
Okay, and connected to our spiritual center. And so Jamie is going to have to focus on that particular area, how all of these are part of our center. Out of that center has come so much.
Right.
Okay, the spiritual Baptist, the Orisha, and what I call my Shango Baptist, Orisha Baptist colleagues. Okay, all that has moved out of the similar experience you all have coming out of African origin and African spirituality, and how it manifested itself in the Caribbean.
Yes. Before we wrap, tell us where persons can get information on the Academy, contact number, email address, or anything like that, so they can get information on the courses or any panel discussions, the exhibitions that you have.
Okay, so that you can contact us. Our phone is 868-499-5915. And the Academy of Grace TT, academyofgracett@gmail.com is our email address. Academy, all lowercase, one word, Academy of Grace TT gmail.com, or you can call us. We are also on Facebook. You can reach out to us on Messenger on Facebook, Academy of Grace TT. And so that whatever info, we also have a YouTube channel.
Okay.
And on that YouTube channel, we have videos of all the seminars we have conducted. We have about 7 seminars. We had packaged them for TV. It was once broadcast on our television, so that we have it already packaged.
Okay.
And it's available on our YouTube channel, Academy of Grace TT.
Okay. Thank you so much, Pastor Ryan Rubin, for the work that you and the team at the Academy are doing. All the best to you. We appreciate you. Right.
Thank you so much.
No
Thank
problem.
you so much. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Enjoy Liberation 2023.
You as well. We take a short break. When we come back, we have lots more in store. Stay with us.
Trinidad, come and get blessed at the Good News Fest. Free groceries while stocks last and lots of giveaways like appliances and toys and much more with live music at each venue. 3 days only in South, March 30th at number 4 Recreation Ground, Palo Seco from 4 p.m. In Central, March 31st at Ancient Alley Promenade, Couva, 6 p.m. And in the East, April 1st, Macoya, Savannah, Macoya, 6 p.m. It's the Good News Fest, 3-day family event, March 30th to April 1st. Lots of giveaways after an encouraging word shared.
With society plagued by a host of issues, with debates surrounding our urgent concerns falling short, with questions of our future not always being answered,
the conversation continues. Join me, Kemuel Pascal, as the voice of the youth comes to life. We will confront the controversial topics of today's world to gain answers that are key for a better tomorrow. One and One with me, Kemuel Pascal. Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Only on WESN, Content Capital.
Is it politics? What is it? Is it that nobody cares about sports?
The kind of support that sport used to get in the past is no longer here.
The thing is, taking a knee doesn't mean that that's the only thing you're doing on it.
Right.
Taking a knee along with other stuff.
Samantha, what are you looking forward to when you return home to Trinidad and Tobago after winning the title?
Thank you very much for speaking it into existence.
Is there no pressure on Nicholas Paul?
It makes me more motivated to work hard and to go out there and rep the red, white and black.
Why are we sending a team to the Winter Olympics?
There are a number of Trinbagonians who are in the diaspora and have grown up in winter sport. It's an opportunity that the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee will not close the door on.
I also believe in the players that we have. Once you can motivate the players, you can get the best out of them.
Bill and Ruth fell in love with the Benjamin Moore color Dry Sage, but they tried to match it using another brand's paint.
I mean, it's close enough.
Almost identical, really. Yeah, there it is.
Never trust another paint to be a Benjamin Moore color.
Thank you for staying with us. Our next interview, we'll be talking about the National Services Exporters Portal. And we have with us via Zoom Ms. Vashti Gayadeen, who is the CEO of Trinidad and Tobago Coalition of Services Industries. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. No problem at all. So let's talk about the National Services Exporters Portal. What is it exactly and what is it meant to do?
Sure. The National Services Exporters Portal, I know it's a long phrase, but you could refer to it as NSEP. It was launched last September. That means that it went live. It's an online platform for service providers and firms to market and sell their services. So this means that there's increased visibility for these firms, and it goes beyond just marketing your services. It's what I like to think about. It's a community of services exporters. So you not only could sell your services, market what you have, what are your primary services or secondary services, but also connects you to people of similar interests.
Okay. And we're talking about on an international, regional stage, right?
Correct.
Okay. And tell us, in terms of registering, like who is eligible for this?
Okay. So once you are a registered business, registered in Trinidad and Tobago, so we would ask you, there's a process that you need to follow. You go onto our website, which is www.ttcsi.org, and you click on the tab where you see the NSCP, and you need to register first. But part of that process is that we would ask you for your incorporation documents. Because we need to ensure that that you are validated. So you need to be a registered firm in Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay. And is it limited to a particular business or particular skill set, or is it broad? Is it broad across the industry?
We cover all services. So you see on your screen where just before there are a number of subsectors. So it's education, medical, health and wellness, real estate, the whole gambit of services. Across the board we are covering.
Okay, nice. What are the benefits that the firms can expect to gain by registering with this portal?
Okay, so there are several benefits at different levels. So let's talk about the most common. First, to begin with, we have marketed this portal, and it's not because there are several. And when we were doing this exercise, we looked at portals regionally and internationally. And if you just type services portal, exporters portal, you'll come up with about more than 50 options available. But what is the unique difference with this portal is that, Dominique, before we built the portal, now there is an issue with the collection of trade and services data. And this is not a Trinidad and Tobago issue. It's an issue with the services sector across the board, meaning globally, regionally. Why is it important to have trade and services data? Because what gets measured gets done. So we know that the Minister of Finance, the Minister of Trade would have been speaking that the manufacturers have been able to double their exports. But on the services side, we do not have that information to say, you know what, financial services have achieved this target for 2020 or 2022. So what we did at TTCSI back in 2019, 2020, we conducted a survey called a National Services Exporters Survey. We went to the market and we asked firms, services firms, tell us what have you been exporting? What are some of the obstacles that you have incurred? And we collected that information in 2020. And then the intention is to do this survey every 2 years. So we did it in 2021, 2022. And based on the information that we collected, we established this portal. So at the back end of the portal, we have information. We have the data analytics to tell you which subsectors have demonstrated the most potential to export. So it was deeper than just having a registry of firms.
Right. So it's a lot more than that. Is there a fee attached to the registration for these firms?
No.
Okay. So this is something free.
Correct.
Okay.
Of course, it will be free forever. So it's important that service providers and firms get on board, because I'll tell you right at this point in time, we have a number of international and regional firms that are asking us to register on the platform.
Okay. Right.
So to ensure that we have all our firms registered, and then we will start the stage of registering international firms. And the reason that we will do that is that it will enable us to connect our local firms to buyers internationally.
Right. So we're talking about some serious networking that would happen coming out of this.
Correct.
Yes.
You hit the nail on the head.
Yes. Is there a deadline for registration? You know, we know this is free now. It won't be like that forever. So is there a possible deadline at this point?
There's no deadline, but just this March is an important month in terms of the decision making, financial decision making for the country, because just about March, April, the business community will be asked by the Ministry of Finance to submit our wish list for budget, some national budget in September, October.
Right.
So it's an ideal time to register and let us know how many firms, so we'll have an idea of what types of firms are operating in each subsector, what are your challenges, so that we can better advocate on your behalf.
Just before we wrap, I know you said that a report was done. You know, what sort of challenges you saw coming out of that report, you know, in those findings? Because we were also dealing with the pandemic as well, too. So what were some of the unique challenges you saw, you know, that this portal addresses?
Well, one of the core challenges, and this is a common thread across the board, was access to market intelligence.
Okay.
And I'm talking about market research specifically on how to enter a market.
Okay.
So you want to enter the Cuban market. What are the tips that you need to understand about that particular market? And this is exactly what we have addressed in this portal. So we provide you with that information as a services exporter. And we also, because that Dominic, this is an excellent question, because coming out of that report, TCSI, we are currently in the process of launching a Doing Business with the World Series.
Wow.
Whereby we are going to provide services exporters in Trinidad and Tobago, expose them to 28 plus countries, and giving them information, putting them onto experts, industry experts, decision makers in 28 plus markets.
Yeah, I think that's amazing, because, you know, you're bringing the information to these service providers, you know, without them having to jump through hoops to get it, you know, information that they may have had to go through a lot of experiences to get. So this portal sounds like it's a really good initiative. Where can persons find more information, whether on social media, a website, or even a contact number or email address?
Sure. So we are on social media. You can check our Facebook page, our LinkedIn, as well as the website, which is www.ttcsi.org. You can reach us at 622-9229, and the email address is marketing@ttcsi.org.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ms. Guidine, for taking this time to tell us about this initiative. We really do hope that service providers jump on board now, get registered and organized to be a part of this amazing networking experience.
Again, thank you for having me.
No problem. We take a short break. When we come back, we have a lot more in store for you. Stay with us.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
The best laptops and tablets are at dbesttoys.com. Get a Gateway 14.1-inch Ultra Slim notebook or an HP 14-inch laptop at the best prices in TNT. Get the Fire 7 tablet for $474. You can also shop the latest Amazon Fire Sticks. Call now at 32-DBEST to order or visit us in-store at Forces Flagship MacBean. Shop online now at dbesttoys.com. Free delivery available throughout Trinidad and Tobago. Cash or links on delivery.
Every word, every line, every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. A father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your stories to life. Because your stories are more than just words. Newsday, independent and credible.
Mental health can explain the behavior of bullies, but also the impact of those who are bullied.
And you have those individuals who may have, some children have what you call conduct disorders. And a conduct disorder, some of them are like to light fires, kill pets, and all these things. Now, those children could go on into adulthood and be somebody with a personality disorder, is what we call a psychopath or antisocial personality disorder.
Do they pick on or target a specific personality, their victim, or is it across the board?
What's Up Doc? Every Tuesday and Thursday on WESN, Content Capital.
But if we died with Christ, we have faith that we will also live with him. We know that Christ has been raised from the dead, and he will never die again. Death no longer has power over him. He died to sin once and for all with his death, but he lives for God with his life. Join WESN as we explore the death and resurrection of Christ with He is Risen, a perspective from varying leaders within the Christian faith. He is Risen, starting March 27th, only on WESN, the Content Capital.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, The Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 389-2378, or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
The issue, the continued rise in the price of flour and its impact on the cost of living in Trinidad and Tobago. How should we go about it? I want to ask you what has been revealed to you about the state of vulnerability in the country because of this exercise and because of what we're going through. Is the government losing the war on the vaccine front?
The discussion should revolve around the common good for the greatest number of people in Trinidad and Tobago.
How do we inculcate a sense of respect and regard for people who may not be of your own political ilk or persuasion?
The communities are now being used by political opportunists. So
when the tables are turned, it's the same way. Okay, this has been 10 questions. I'm Andy Johnson, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for staying with us. For our next interview, we're talking about the gathering of men. You know, we're talking about men and introspection, vulnerability, and healing. Joining us via Zoom, we have Commander Gavin Hura, who is a presenter and panelist at this upcoming event. And we also have Pastor Karen Alexis from Walking in Freedom Ministry. Thank you both for being here with us.
Thank you.
Morning. Hi.
Okay. All right, so we're going to talk about the gathering of men and I guess the importance of this particular event that we're having. You know, one of the things that you have listed in terms of the promotion of the event, you talk about, you know, the need for introspection, the need for vulnerability and healing. So tell us, you know, Commander, tell us about men in terms of, you know, some of the issues that they would have to deal with, the expectations, you know, things in society and so on, those things that they may be grappling with.
Yeah, sure. So I'll go ahead and I'll speak about that, and then I'll give way to Reverend Alexis, who will speak more about the event. Yeah. So first, we want to thank the Media House for starting this conversation with us this morning, and of course for promoting such an important event and at such a time like this. You know, I spoke in another place regarding the event just recently, and I said timing was everything, because as a man growing up as being mentored, be it in sports, be it as a young adult, as a teenager, timing in how you do things plays an important role. Yes. And when you look at what is taking place today, for instance, in society with fathers, with men, be it men who are in churches or men who are out of churches, because this is not to say it's a church event. This is a Christian thing. It's not like that. Yes. This is a mobilization. That's how we like to talk about it. Those who are organizing this, working behind the scene, Reverend Alexis and her team, we saw it not as a conference, because people will look at it and brand it as just another men's conference. No, this is a mobilization of men. And we are saying it is not just a Christian event. This is an event for men to come out. If you're working with men, or you have a men's group, or you see you want an opportunity to register and resonate good, positive vibes into men's lives, this is the event to come to. It's a time where men are going to admit and accept their vulnerabilities. Yes. Look at some of their weaknesses. Look at some of their challenges. Look at some of their decision-making, how you're treating with issues in your relationships as a father, as a mentor. You know, some of those decision-makings now that are so critical, not only for you as a man, but for you as a man in your family, for you as a man in your family, in your community, and by extension, your society. So it's a great event. It's an opportunity to put things right, as you saw. The theme, check yourself before you wreck yourself, because some of us are on a pathway right now. Man, I'm talking to you. Some of us are on a pathway. If we don't check ourselves, we're going to wreck ourselves.
Pastor Alexis, thank you, Commander. Pastor Alexis, in terms of this movement, as Commander so rightfully called it, you know, how are you able to have this, to mobilize these presenters, you know, to really set up this timely event, you know, to meet the needs of the men in our society?
Well, one of the things that I looked at is Lieutenant Gavin Hira, Dr. Luke Cominer, and also Minister Lyndon Balkaran. I realize these men have walked through certain things in their life. They have experienced certain things, and I believe they were best suited for mobilizing the men. And we're trying to bridge the gap between the baby boomers and the millennials. Right. There are a lot of things that sometimes the baby boomers do not understand the millennials. So we have a blend, so that people would, you know, some people feel that young people can't speak to them. Young people, what could young people tell me that I already know about? We want to bridge that gap. So we want to hear from the, you know, baby boomers. We want to hear from the millennials, how they see things from a different perspective. So these are the men that we carefully prayed about and selected these men who I know will be very impactful. They are very influential, and based on their experiences, they're able to get that command from the men and to listen to them. You know, men, people like, you know, when you're real, people like, sometimes you view people and you said, you know, well, they probably never went through this. But when you hear the experiences, when you hear them sit and talk about, I've been there, I've done that, you can identify with them and say, okay, I'm not the only one in this mess.
Yes. So just quickly tell us about the proceeding of the day. What can the men who are coming to this event expect? And then let us know the details. Right. Yes.
Okay, when you come, it's a whole day event. And men, please don't get discouraged or turn off and say, about whole day I'm spending. You will be surprised. Men come together. You know, like they normally see when women come together, when men come together. This is something different, all right? And the first thing we're starting off with is Apostle Vivian Duncan. He's going to be speaking on the man in the mirror.
Okay.
Who is this man in the mirror? Secondly, we have Minister Michael Alexis, a young millennial. Actually, that's my son.
Okay.
He's going to be speaking on check yourself before you wreck yourself. And then we have a break, and in the afternoon session, we want to give that whole session, to Q&A, where the men can be free to write the question, speak, come out, ask the question, and here's where we have the presenters, the panelists, which is Lieutenant Commander Gavin Hira, Dr. Luke, and also Minister Lyndon Balcoran. You feel free. We ask the ladies, you can bring your husband, you can bring your son, you can bring your grandparent. It does not matter. We are asking the ladies to sit out.
Yes.
As I told you, a lot of ladies saying, oh God, I want to come. Some saying, I want to come and volunteer. You can do that, but you're going to sit out and allow the men, give them their space. And then we have lunch at $40. We're asking folks to call the number. We don't want you to just show up and you have nothing to eat.
Right.
We want you to at least place your order so we can cater for you. And it's on Saturday, the 1st of April. A man asked me, Paul, he said, this is, this is All Fools Day. This is real, right? I said, this is real.
This is serious.
As you get all right, and it's going to be at Bishop Anstey, that's Trinity College. That's in the East.
Yes.
All right, Trinity College.
Yes.
And 10 a.m. in the morning.
Okay, so give us those contact numbers. So persons who are listening now, they can take it down and they can contact, to register for their spots.
All right, 759-0471. That's my number, so don't call now. And then the next number is 338-6847.
Okay.
So let me just repeat it again. 759-0471 and 338-6847.
Okay. And is there any way on social media that persons can get more information if they need to? Any Facebook page, Instagram?
Yes, just punch in Walking in Freedom Ministry. You can get some information there. Or Karen Alexis, Michael Alexis, anyone, you can get some information there as well. And please note, if you do not have a ticket or you didn't register, calm down. You can pay at the door. It's just $100 and $40 for lunch. So you can come and register right there. All right? Yes. Come early to get a good parking space. Come early. I have folks tell me they're coming from Stiperia, from Point 14. Come down early and ensure that you get a seat. And we ask men to dress comfortably. Just dress comfortably and come.
Yes, we look forward to the good news and the testimonies that come out of this movement. Thank you so much, Pastor Karen Alexis and Commander Gavin Hira. Right?
You're welcome. Thanks for having us.
No problem. We take a quick break. When we come back from news, we have one more interview in store for you this morning. Stay with us.
Here's your WESN News on the Hour. I am Denise Martin. Thanks for joining us. Here are the headlines. Opposition leader defends absence at President's inauguration. 2 men granted $300,000 bail at Princestown Magistrates Court. Farley Augustine to launch political party next week. And internationally, tear gas used as French protests persists. Now for the details. Opposition leader Kamla Persad-Bissessar has defended her and her members' decision to not attend last week's inauguration of the president. She was speaking at the UNC Monday Night Forum.
I see a new narrative being created that when the UNC does not attend something that they have, what they say? They say we are unpatriotic. So patriotic to them means attending to their functions and sit down and grin and clap. I'm not going to be that kind of person. I will not be that person. And we will not be that. That is hypocrisy of the highest order. And they will say it more and more as we go down because they have nothing to say. So we don't attend their sham functions. And what is it? Unpatriotic.
Referring to President Christine Kanglu as the puppet president, the service has accused the president of being a hypocrite.
That's her first speech, put aside spites and grudges. And in her first speech in the Parliament caucus with the supposed women's group, what she was doing? Crying crocodile tears about spites and grudges, saying she and Miss Bridget, how people abuse them as women and so on, and nobody said anything. Hey, where you living, woman? How many times have they denigrated me, attacked me, viciously attacked me? Did I go on a platform to cry? No, I am not afraid of any of them. In that inauguration, the puppet president says, forget past spites and grudges. In her second speech as a contrived women's caucus, she complains about past spites and grudges. And then she forgot about her own bias and deplorable behavior as Senate President.
Two men who appeared in separate matters before the courts were granted bail in sums totaling $300,000. The men, who were arrested on Friday, answered to charges of housebreaking and larceny, possession of cannabis for the purpose of trafficking, and possession of more than 4 growing plants of cannabis. In the first matter, the defendant, Devon Luban, who was charged with housebreaking and larceny, pleaded guilty and was granted bail with a surety in the sum of $125,000. The second matter involved Ronnie Emmanuel, who was charged for possession of cannabis for the purpose of trafficking and possession of more than 4 growing plants of cannabis. THA Chief Secretary Folly Augustine and the rest of independents will be launching their new political party next week. This comes months after the members separated themselves from the Watson Duke-led PDP. Former THA Chief Secretary Hojoy Charles weighed in on the developments.
One of the problems with Trinidad, Tobago, the Caribbean, most countries is that we learn to be an official or a leader before we learn to be a servant. That's our problem.
In international news now, some 13,000 police officers are deployed across France on a 10th day of mass protests and strikes over controversial pension reforms. Paris police say 27 people have been arrested in the French capital during demonstrations over pension reforms. Interior Minister Gerald Darmanin earlier said the high number of police deployed, a record for France, was justified by a major risk to public order. Union leaders are urging President Emmanuel Macron to hit pause on plans to raise the legal retirement age in France from 62 to 64. Well, that was your News to the Hour on WESN. I am Denise Martin. Thanks for watching.
Trinidad, come and get blessed at the Good News Fest. Free groceries while stocks last and lots of giveaways like appliances and toys and much more with live music at each venue. 3 days only in South, March 30th at number 4 Recreation Ground, Palo Seco from 4 p.m. In Central, March 31st at Ancient Alley Promenade, Couva, 6 p.m. And in the East, April 1st, Macoya, Savannah, Macoya, 6 p.m. It's the Good News Fest, 3-day family event, March 30th to April 1st. Lots of giveaways after an encouraging word shared.
But if we died with Christ, we have faith that we will also live with him. We know that Christ has been raised from the dead, and he will never die again. Death no longer has power over him. He died to sin once and for all with his death, but he lives for God with his life. Join WESN as we explore the death and resurrection of Christ with He is Risen, a perspective from bearing leaders within the Christian faith. He is Risen, starting March 27th, only on WESN, the content capital.
Thank you for staying with us for our final interview this morning. We are speaking with singer, songwriter, entrepreneur, and someone who I will call a music minister, Mikhail. Mikhail, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Now, we're talking about With One Voice, and before we get into that event, you know, you're celebrating 12 years of music and ministry.
Yes. That is 12 years.
12 years. So let's unpack those 12 years as much as we could in this interview time. How has this journey been, and do you feel like it's been 12 years?
Funny enough, I knew in terms of last year when I was counting, okay, I found myself reflecting, and I was like, wow, okay, 2023, you're going to be in this thing for 12 years. It didn't 100% hit me until January of this year, where I was like, whoa, you're 12 years in music, and because you're in gospel music too, you know, of course, you're a part of the body that is, or the aspect of the church that is ministry. So it was like, okay, well, you know, from 2011 to 2023, you're still here, you're still going. It hasn't been an easy road, but you're still here fighting the good fight. And I don't really like to use the word fighting or the sentence fighting the good fight.
Yes, yeah.
But you've still been here pushing, and the last 5 years has been a very transformative time for me, because I've started to enjoy these small wins. I've started to, you know, just take it all in, because before, listen, from the get-go, it was, all right, you know, you want to do this, you're serious about this, so you're not stopping.
Yes.
And, you know, you're pushing hard. And it took me a while to then realize, well, you've achieved certain things that you know, as much as yes, you want to achieve more, you want to get to that point that you need to get to. You've achieved so much that man, sit back and enjoy the roses. Sit back and smell the roses.
Yes, so you can celebrate those small wins leading up to those bigger things that you want to accomplish. Was this always part of the plan? Was it always that you wanted to be a music minister, or is something that you happened into, or you felt led or called to do it?
Well, I grew up in a singing family, and my dad is well known in the Seventh-day Adventist circle as a singing evangelist. So that to itself, I know not many people probably would agree, but that to itself, in the capacity at which my father was at and is at, it felt like being a pastor's kid. So you always have to be on your P's and Q's to a degree, you know. But the one thing that kept us in our faith is the fact that, you know, as flawed as humans may be, our parents for sure, definitely, just to have our own relationship with Christ. So for me, growing up in music, I at one point when the voice started to crack and whatnot, I was like, nope, good, no more singing, no more up and down. And for a time, it was that. So it was just me in secondary school, and I've always loved entertainment. So for me, it was wanting to do a lot of the behind the scenes stuff.
Right.
Because once I'm into something, I want to know everything behind the scenes. That is from the artist I like to, you know, how do you put on the best show possible? What is required for this, that, and the other. So I was like, okay, if I'm going to get into entertainment, it has to be behind the scenes stuff. And then literally when I was hitting that 17 age bracket, I just felt a pull, like, nah, I you know, God saying like, nah, I need you back here. Yeah. And I was like, you know, I'm not sure. And all I could hear was no. I need you back here. And from that, I started to pursue music. And I remember when I was younger, telling my father, if I'm to go into gospel music, I need to do this professionally. I need to do this with excellence.
Right.
And that was me at a young age saying that. And my father usually says, like, sometimes he remembers, sometimes he's like, I don't remember that. And I'm like, well, I remember it very clearly.
So it was a standard that you wanted to set for yourself.
Yeah, a standard I wanted to set if I was to go into it, and then finding myself back, well, actually in it, you know, in 2011, that's where I started up into actually producing my own songs. And from then to now, yeah, that's what it's been like. You know, just pushing and producing my own material, and grateful that I'm still here.
Yes. How has it been, you know, trying to balance? Because you talk about the love for, you know, always having a love for entertainment and so on. So in terms of your faith, you know, balancing your faith and the music industry and entertainment and, you know, even in the gospel industry, how have you been able to find balance in that and, you know, maintain that standard?
I love that. I love it because for me, what I've always told anyone that's asked me is that I understand or I took the stance that the business aspect of things is the business aspect of things, right? The spiritual or the ministry side of things is the ministry side of things. They can work hand in hand to take things further and do things that need to be done, because if we're looking at a church or we're looking at a pastor, they need to be sustained in some way.
Right.
The church the bills need to be paid. The church like bill TNTech and others not gonna say, but yeah, because you're a church, you don't have to pay the light bill,
right?
You know, and you have to pay the water bill. so there is the business that needs to be you know, taken care of. And for me, that was what I applied to me when I started in music, and even today, which was, okay, I need to make sure that my business is in order. So that means, you know, registering my songs, you know, looking at what is available abroad that maybe Trinidad doesn't have down here at the time of as yet, to make sure that I can exploit my music to the best of my ability. You know, looking at how can I recoup funds from having spent a certain amount of money on productions and marketing and whatnot, and just, okay, figuring out and putting together that plan in terms of, okay, making sure that I can pay my taxes if I have to, you know, making sure, you know, that I can pay my bills if I have to, and just, you know, allowing that to be the case. So contracts are contracts, you know, bills are bills. You know, when you're booking me, I like to say, you know, I don't bite. So if you're booking, and let's get it done. I come and I deliver what you expect, which is inspirational performance, which at the end of the day is ministry. So, you know, and that then encompasses the ministry aspect when I'm in a church or in an event where, you know, I'm going to be giving you what you're looking for, which is, you know, to be inspired and blessed or touched.
In terms of that spirit of excellence, you know, that standard that you, at that young age, knew you wanted to do it professionally. And, you know, it's definitely something that I can attest to with, you know, over the years watching you and your growth, that excellence, that spirit of excellence, having things in order, that standard. You know, talk to us about the importance of that, the significance of that, and even to persons who are looking on, you know, up-and-coming artists who are looking on, you know, artists who exist already in spaces, the importance of having that and maintaining that spirit, that excellence.
Well, what I would say is, and it's not really me going off track and still sticking to what you asked, but what I would say is, if we're looking at wanting corporate Trinidad or wanting the corporate world on a whole to invest in what we have and to work alongside us, we can then also look at ourselves as, hey, I am bringing something that is unique. So in me bringing something that is unique, even though it's in gospel music, for me bringing something that's unique, I need to recognize that it is required of me because the scripture says it, Lord, you're making me want to preach. But the scriptures on that spirit of excellence and God being a God that wants that for us. He wants us to be great. He wants excellence, everything. So if God wants that, then I have to apply that to myself, and that means okay, I must recognize what is required of me when it comes to equality in music, what is required of me when it comes to handling my business, making sure every dollar that comes in, you count it. Listen, it has not been easy, especially because it's music. It has not been easy for me because, it's not like I'm in soca where I can, go and participate in multiple fets or
some mainstream stuff.
Events. Multiple events outside of the country and whatnot. So it's not as easy to recoup your finances, but it is possible, right? And there are avenues that you are allotted, or avenues that are available. That just requires your hard work, requires you to research, requires you to then put your best foot forward and say, okay, I am going to attack this particular thing in a manner in which, for sure, the doors should open, has to open, because if I'm professing and I'm preaching that I serve a God that is great, then I have myself must trust in the fact that when I approach these entities or I approach these opportunities, that it's going to open. And even if you don't get yes right away, trust me, you're going to get it, because there have been many no's for me, in and outside of the church, many no's, and then 1 year it changes, where the corporate entity or the pastor of a church says, you know what, I've been observing you, I've been seeing you since the first time you reached out to me. We want to work with you, or we would like you to come and participate and whatnot, or we want to help you. So, I mean, it takes time, it takes patience, and the only way you're going to see the positive outcome is when you, stick with this thing.
Because you've been putting in the work. We're talking about 12 years of you continuously putting in the work. And, even in terms of putting in the work with this event now, with One Voice, tell us about it. And, what can persons expect? What is the date of the event? All the details surrounding it.
Yes. It's me capping off or bringing, not really to a close, but
you're celebrating this moment.
Just a huge form of celebration of 12 years, and we're having it at the Creative Arts Center. I was more or less sitting back and saying, okay, how can I, to the best of my ability, celebrate, what God has done in my life and where I'm at, and I said, okay, why not throw this event and throw it in a manner and in a way where folks that come for sure can expect to be encouraged, to be inspired, along with to have a good time in Jesus, right? Many times some folks think in gospel, or in Christendom, you can't have fun, but no, you can. So, I wanted to deliver that and give that to the people. And we have folks like Nisa, Blessed Messenger, Shadi, Sealy, Scintillant Brothers, and a good few that will be a part of the event. These are also persons that have, in some way, shape, or form, supported my ministry, or lent advice to me. And I just wanted to kind of bring back a certain amount of persons that have been there and who have powerful forms of ministry.
Right.
So there's that. Tickets are $150, but presently we are going through the early bird ticket stage, so it's only $75.
Okay.
Yes, $75.
Okay.
And that is only available at caritickets.com. CARI tickets.com. So once you go there, go on the With One Voice event page, you can get your early bird tickets at $75 only, right? And that is for a limited time on the site. And then once limited early bird tickets are over, then we go to the general admission price, which is $150, and at door is $200. So for me, I hope people recognize, I could have kept things at $150, $200, and keep it there, but I just said to myself, listen, after all that we've gone through with COVID,
yes.
After all that we've witnessed, and then to, not having many gospel events, I wanted to make sure that everybody gets a fair share and a fair chance at, coming and attending and being blessed by it. And then, of course, April 17th, physical tickets will be available at the ticket locations or retailers that you see on the poster.
Okay,
so yeah.
Nice. Where on social media can persons find you and even your music as well too?
Well, they can if they have Spotify, Apple Music, any streaming platform, you can find me at Mikael, just Mekail, Mikael. Type that in and you'll find my music. In terms of social media, it's Mikael Official, so Mekail Official. So that's all social media platforms. And the social media platforms that I am on is Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I got into TikTok 2021, late 2021.
How has that been?
Falling in love with it. I was one of them that bashed TikTok. I was one of them that bashed TikTok relentlessly. And my wife was like, no, you will enjoy it. And I just said one day, let me go on it, because my wife always sent me videos from it on Facebook. And I was like, all right, let me check it out. Joined, and I haven't come off since. Yeah,
it's another outlet to reach people. Yes.
Yes.
Mikael, we thank you so much for joining us for this conversation. Congratulations on 12 years of music and ministry. Congratulations on this upcoming event. I know, as always, the event is going to be excellent. I plan to be there. Yes.
Nice.
All right, no problem. Have a great day. We take a short break. When we come back, we still have a little more in store for you this morning. Stay with us.
I am strong-minded, thinking that all of my actions will lead to demise. Dreams and aspirations that really don't line up with none of your plans. But I make them anyway, like the world's my power play. Futile and crazy, it's really all funny to you. My strength, comfort when my plans all fail. You look down on me and say, I got much better plans for you. Step back and watch God work. Like the king of the universe, daddy's got it covered. Yeah, daddy's got it covered. Yeah. Infinite God that you are, everything here you created. Sun, moon, and the stars, also the signs of your greatness. Where would I be without you? Won't last seconds without you. So I surrender my all, surrender my all, surrender my all. Lord, what I would I do again? Don't know how I would have faced another day. Lord, when I look up on my dark days, fake face friends never stick around, they run away. Cried by myself, I was overwhelmed, cause I used my strength. But only when I seek your faces, when all of my rainy days go. Lord, I had to know my place, take control, let me take vacay. Wash all of my darkness right like day. I'm just a sinner man saved by grace. As I give it all, victories we winning now. Nothing could ever stop us, we unstoppable, look how we winning now. Oh, and I got it, you are everything here you created. Sun, moon, and the stars, also the signs of your greatness. Where would I be without you? Won't last seconds without you. So I surrender, surrender my all, surrender, surrender my all, surrender, surrender my all, surrender. Surrender all, yeah. Lord, what I woulda, Lord, what I woulda, Lord, what I woulda.
Trinidad, come and get blessed at the Good News Fest. Free groceries while stocks last and lots of giveaways like appliances and toys and much more with live music at each venue. 3 days only in South, March 30th at number 4 Recreation Ground, Palo Seco from 4 p.m. In Central, March 31st at Ancient Alley Promenade, Couva, 6 p.m. And in the East, April 1st, Macoya, Savannah, Macoya, 6 p.m. It's the Good News Fest, 3-day family event, March 30th to April 1st. Lots of giveaways after an encouraging word shared.
What's the best way to grab the attention of viewers? Please exercise more patience. You have to be kidding me.
Doing what we do best. I'll say at the very least it's a conspiracy of laziness against the people.
Join me, Keaton Shaw.
And me, Sean Michael Small, for Talking Point.
Weekdays from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m.
We go in-depth on the trending issues and engage the most controversial newsmakers
as we get them to account to the people for their actions.
You can't go to the government with nothing. You can't go to cabinet with an empty hand, with a wish.
I'm glad that we're having this a sober, mature discussion.
In the present situation, I expect a continuation of the chaos.
Join us for the discussion, Mondays to Fridays,
only on WESN,
the content capital.
Before we close today's show, we have to say all the best to our SEA students. You've worked so hard to reach this milestone. We are already proud of you and what you are going to accomplish. No matter what you may feel, no matter the outcome of this exam, we are so proud of you. Go in there, you do your best, whether you pray, you meditate before you start, but you just know that you already have it. Everything that you've studied, that you've worked towards, it's this very moment here. We hope that you take it easy. Don't beat up on yourself. Take a deep breath and begin your exam. All the best to you and to the parents, to the guardians, the teachers, everyone who have invested in our young people as they go to sit the exam. We do hope that you have a good day as well too. We are here tomorrow, well, not tomorrow, we have our holiday tomorrow, please God. We hope you enjoy the holiday. Be safe in whatever you're doing. We're back here on Friday. If you would like to book with us for an interview, you can contact us at amprimewesn@gmail.com, or you can call or WhatsApp us at 868-620-1331. Thank you for staying with us today. We hope you have a great day. Stay safe. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.